Hello and welcome to ESPNcricinfo Match Day T20, match number 6 of IPL 2019. Boy, we've already seen so much action, so much news, so much drama. I guess we'll see a lot more of it tonight when the two Tamil Nadu boys lead their teams. Dinesh Karthik against R. Ashwin, Kolkata against Punjab. The toss has just happened at the Eden Gardens. There are all sorts of headlines that are surrounding R. Ashwin. It'll be a big test to see how he responds to that win against Rajasthan. KKR, on the other hand, pulled off a great heist against Sunrisers at the Eden Gardens. They're staying here for their second game. Dasgupta saw that game with delight. Brad Hodge is here as well to talk about his most recent team in connection with the IPL, and that's a big toss, Deep, to start off with.
Absolutely. If you look at that paper, the teams on the paper, you would say KKR is a better side than Kings 11 on paper. Yeah. But that toss kind of balances each other out, and now that toss, and especially at Eden Gardens with all the dew and everything else, it's a very, very important toss to win.
Yeah, I mean, toss at Eden Gardens always important, and the fact that it doesn't go Kolkata's way just makes things interesting.
It's huge. It's one of those venues where, you know, you're actually praying that the captain does win the toss, because everyone just wants to bowl or chase. Yeah, different in the day, but at night time, you know that dew factor is such a huge thing, and whether you can juggle those three spinners before the dew factor comes into play is a real big issue.
All right, now there is a host of changes for both teams, and we've got actually the Punjab team, and it does look like that there are a lot of changes actually in this team. So David Miller gets a game immediately as he's rejoined the squad. Out goes Nicholas Pooran, so KL Rahul will take the gloves. You have Hardus Villian, the South African seamer who's gone Kolpak and plays in the English county now. He gets a game in place of Sam Curran. You've got Varun Chakravarti making a debut. Out goes Ankit Rajput. We're also speculating there could be one more change, which we'll just confirm in a bit and get back to you. So we're just saying that there could be one more change as well, as Ball by Ball even suggests that Andrew Tye could be getting a game. So we'll just come back in a minute and confirm that team. We know that KKR are unchanged, so maybe we'll start there. No surprises of Kolkata not wanting to make changes after that first game.
Yeah, absolutely, because everyone looked good. The biggest question mark was on Sunil Narayan's fitness, and it's good to see that he's fit enough to start the game. So yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you need to change, and KKR generally has the same team. I mean, they don't need to make too many changes, apart from maybe Prasidh Krishna went for a few in the last game, just the first game.
Runs for Nitish Rana opening in spite of Narayan not being fit. Would you be tempted to keep the batsman open in the batting, or is Narayan, that opening batsman, still something Kolkata must rely on?
No, Narayan is so dangerous. I mean, he's got a licence at the top, and if he gets 50 or 60, then you can't stop this side from getting under 180, which is important. I thought Nitish Rana did a fantastic job the other night. Yeah. And that'll put him in good stead as well, batting in the middle order. He's actually a great player of spin. So that's important at the Eden Gardens as well.
Yeah, we got a confirmation of that team, Deep. Sorry, that Mujibur Rahman isn't playing and Andrew Tye gets a game. So this is lots of changes.
Yeah.
No Mujibur Rahman. Andrew Tye gets the game. Hardus Villian gets the game. Out go both Sam Curran. So that's 3 overseas changes from the last game. So but for Chris Gayle, all the other overseas players are out. Miller in for Pooran, Hardus Villian in for Sam Curran, Andrew Tye in for Mujibur Rahman, and Varun Chakravarti in for Ankit Rajput. So Mohammad Shami is the preferred Indian seamer in these conditions. Deep, first thoughts to that?
Well, I'm a little surprised to see a couple of those changes. David Miller, fair enough. He comes in straight away. That's all right.
Even the Hardus Villian one almost makes sense if you're looking at Sam Curran as a bowling option.
Andrew Tye, I thought Andrew Tye would come in place of Sam Curran, and you would still go in with Mujib.
Right.
I mean, Mujib is someone, look at his record in T20 or limited overs cricket across you know, the leagues that he's played. He's played for Afghanistan. I mean, he just gives you a different dimension as far as bowling is concerned.
What could be the reason behind this omission of Mujib?
It's surprising, actually. I'm not sure. I think this may be one of them cases where a team gets excited. They want to make some random wholesale changes because they're trying to outfox the opposition. But I can't see that. I would have thought that Mujib would have been first pick, especially at the Eden Gardens, where you think there'd be a little bit of assistance, you know, for some spin.
But I can understand. I mean, this pitch is like a lot quicker and faster and bounces, so you might want to play extra fast bowlers here, but not at the cost of someone like Mujibur Rahman. I can understand if it had been some other spinner, but not at the cost of Mujib. So that's what I find.
Right, now let's get all of you watching on Facebook Live busy as well, because Mujibur Rahman was such a big component of Punjab's team, and he's also got a huge social media following, I know, definitely on FB. And that's what we're asking you. Will Punjab miss his services today? If it's a yes, hit the heart reaction. If it's a no, then give us the ha-ha reaction and get laughing about it. Get busy on FB Live, because Ashwin has pulled a rabbit out of the hat here. He's made wholesale changes in this game at the Eden Gardens. So we'll look at some numbers too, because Hardisvillian gets a game. Varun Chakravarti, after going for $1 million at the auction, also gets a game. So we'll just throw out some numbers, give you an idea of how these players tend to go. So Hardisvillian, South African born, plays for Derbyshire in the English county season, and that's what he averages in 2020 cricket of late. So an average of 21. Haji, what do you know about Hardisvillian? What will he add to this Punjab side?
Well, I guess presence, bit of, you know, trying to hit the wicket hard and some ball speed, but it's not that simple. I mean, coming from an English T20 league to the IPL is a little bit different in the Eden Gardens in front of a roaring crowd. I think that's a pretty tough ask, especially against a side like this that hosts the likes of Chris Lynn, Narayan, Russell, Dinesh Karthik's a great player as well. So there's he's going to have his work cut out for him. And I mean, it's hard because they've made so many changes that you question the roles of what these guys will play. I mean, you know, Andrew Ty doesn't bowl a lot in the power play. Mujib is a big player who bowls in the power play. So then you've got to refine those overs again. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how this one pans out.
Yeah, you're assuming he's going to take the new ball here. Perhaps with unless Ashwin fancies a game ball
or maybe Varun Chakravarti. I mean, he's that X factor which Mujib would be. So maybe Varun Chakravarti bowls initially in the power play, maybe the first couple of overs or something.
What's the pressure like for an overseas fast bowler? We spoke about overseas batsmen. Sometimes they come in with big reputations and they see a turner, they see quality spinners bowl at them and it all goes pear-shaped. What about fast bowlers? What sort of adjustments do they need to make?
Well, line and length for you know, a little bit. You've got to pitch it up a fraction more than you're probably used to. I mean, Andrew Tyers hasn't played for a couple of weeks actually, so I think he'll find a little bit difficult rolling straight back into IPL. But he's a quality performer.
Yeah, and he's done it before. You know, he's a successful IPL bowler.
Yeah, 22
Someone
wickets.
Someone like Hardisvillian, would this be a decent ground actually to make a debut?
Look, I think I wouldn't have. Not really. I mean, it's quite a high-scoring venue as well. So you've got to have some tricks up your sleeve. You've got to be well on top of your game. Look, I don't know him that well, to be honest, to be able to predict how he's going to go. But I thought Ankit Rajput actually did a pretty good job there last.
It's a big call to play Mohammad Shami ahead of Ankit Rajput.
I completely agree with Haji when he says that the very first game, after the first game, you've won the first game and you make so many changes and suddenly everyone's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What is expected of me? You know, and that's where we keep talking about CSK, that clarity of thought, which is so important.
Quick question, since he's raised that point before we move forward, but can this be unsettling to players, or is this perhaps team talk that, look, this could happen, we could win games and make changes looking at oppositions and conditions?
Look, in management you do make that, and you make that very clear, but having said that though, as a player, secretly when you go back to your hotel room, you digest why you're out of the side. And then someone will say, well, it's a chance, but then you go to the next game and that doesn't reverse.
Right.
You start to question yourself.
And then after a few games, if this keep happening and you start having people talking in hushed tones and suddenly you have pockets of players sitting in the dressing room, and so it's a very, very tricky dressing room, IPL.
Tell you what, the only way this works is if Punjab win this, then we're all going to be praising them for their fine master strokes and what. Now, other factors tend to dictate playing 11s at times. I don't think it's as much of how much you've paid for a player, but when you paid $1 million for a young Indian player, you can't wait to see how he goes. We're going to see more of Varun Chakravarti. Here's what we can get for you for now for him.
In T20 cricket, there are mystery spinners, and then there are those whose arrival on the big scene is a mystery. Meet the IPL's newest aspirant, 27-year-old Varun Chakravarti from Tamil Nadu. Starting off as a keeper batsman in school, Chakravarti drifted away from the game in college.
I quit cricket when I was studying in college, and after I finished my college, I took up cricket again and I wanted to be a fast bowler. And when I was a fast bowler for the team Crompes, that's when I injured my leg. And after that, when I took 6 months to recover from the injury. And after that, I started bowling spin.
It was a big leap, one that would lead Chakravarti to quit his architecture job and use that know-how in sport.
Architecture is mostly about visualizing. So whenever I bowl, I tend to visualize how the batsman is going to play. So that helps me a lot while bowling. So the love for cricket was always there inside me. I always loved cricket. I felt that I was able to express myself more in cricket. So that triggered me, and that made me quit my job when I was 25, and I took up cricket back again.
The man who took 22 wickets in 9 matches of the Vijay Hazare Trophy this year already has had a bowl at the CSK and KKR nets.
Obviously, the quality of IPL batsmen is top class. So I learned how to bowl to attacking batsmen, and I learned how important line and length is. So I all learned it when I was a net bowler for CSK and KKR.
Chakravarti's big T20 break was the TNPL this year, where he grabbed the attention by choking the batsman with his variations and dot balls.
My idol is Anil Kumble. I look up to him a lot. I always keep on seeing his videos on YouTube. And the variations which I learned was my experience, what I had got from playing lots of tennis ball cricket. So I took lots of time to translate what I had, the skills that I had in tennis ball cricket to cricket ball. So it did take me time. So it was a transition which was very tough for me. So that's where I learned all my skills from.
The architect has laid the foundation and now needs some luck and persistence to make a tall career.
Always a big ask, but Varun Chakravarti certainly seems to have the confidence behind him, and it won't be long before we fill that portrait with his picture if he actually makes an impact in today's game. 10 matches, 9 wickets in the TNPL recently concluded. This is one of those things that goes either way for a franchise. Big money for an Indian mystery spinner. We've seen it work, and we've seen it go off as well.
Yeah, it certainly can do. I mean, good luck to him. I'm super
Yes,
excited
absolutely.
for him to get an opportunity, but I'm a little bit nervous that the Tamil Nadu Premier League is there's a big step up.
Well, he's saying a lot of things that exude confidence. I bowled in the KKR and CSK nets, and I've already learned how I need to bowl a big, aggressive batsman. He seems to have the Ashwin school of thought, thinks a lot about his game, understands his game, and seems very confident when he's articulating.
Well, he's obviously educated. If he's got a degree in architecture, then he's on the right track. But we'll find out quickly tonight whether he'll be jumping back into that job or concentrating on cricket.
Well done, Ajit. How about that for a vote of confidence? How would you use him?
Straight away in the first 6.
Would that sometimes be even more sort of
Listen,
nerve-wracking?
you're looking at a dangerous opening pair.
Absolutely.
If Sunil Narayan opens and Chris Lynn, and Chris Lynn is known not to be very good against spin. Straight away in the first couple of overs, just put him in and see what Sunil Narayan and Chris Lynn can do, or rather what he can do.
I'm almost clashing sort of ideologies all of a sudden in these two teams. So Kolkata, they have this set group of 11, 12 players, 13 max that you'd see the 11s rotate around. They made no changes. Lucky Ferguson was impressive in that first game. We thought maybe Harry Gurney would make a presence in the IPL sooner rather than later. But the more I read of Lucky Ferguson and see him bowl, Haji, it actually turned out to be a decent pick.
Yeah, he was impressive actually, and I'm with you actually. The more you read about him, the more knowledge you seem to get. I mean, he's advanced his game to start bowling in the death, changed the pace. So that's the sort of thing that you want to hear as in your management, to think that he's going well, and he must be going well. Because I've seen Harry Gurney up close and personal, and he's got some serious talent and skill.
Yeah, that's the thing with Lockie Ferguson. You just pick up a lot of data that we've dug out too. He seems to go for a boundary less than most other bowlers. He's got some good numbers there. He's got Chris Gale's challenge ahead of him though, and Chris Gale has got fond memories of the Eden Gardens. He's also got the pleasure now of knowing what he needs to chase. But let's just have a look at some more numbers when it comes to Chris Gale. This is against 140 plus balls since 2017. He's got a strike rate of less than 100. He's gotten out 4 times. So maybe it's not new, Deep, that we tend to think give the senior guys some pace, or give anybody some pace, and you stand a chance.
And you're talking about decent pace, 140 plus clicks. That's decent amount of pace there. So I'm sure most of the players you see, you'll find almost the same kind of number there. But yeah, I mean, going back to Lockie Ferguson, I mean, he's quick. That's what he's got. He's quick. He's accurate, and off off late in the death. I mean, the series against India, New Zealand, India, he bowled really well in the death there as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you've got some pace there, and that's what both the teams have preferred to go with. The fast bowlers are proper fast bowlers, be it Willian or be it Lockie here. Even Prasidh Krishna is pretty quick.
Yeah.
So quite a few good, quick, fast bowlers.
There you go, Mohammad Shami to add to that list. So it's a pretty decent fast bowling lineup. What else do Kolkata have in their arsenal to potentially throw at Chris Gayle? And you've got Sunil Narayan and Piyush Chawla. Narayan's actually done very well against Chris Gayle. Got him out 5 times. Piyush Chawla, strike rate of 181. So there's both versions of it. Narayan against Gayle. That's a nice, appetizing prospect. Sometimes these Calypso boys like to get one on top of the other in the IPL when they know everyone's watching.
They certainly do. I mean, it's a mouth-watering contest, and look. I guess conditions will have to come into play as well, and I'm sure Chris would have talked to maybe KL Rahul and discussed, the problems that he's had with Sunil Narayan. Sunil Narayan's a good matchup to him, but KL Rahul at the other end is also a very good player against Sunil Narayan. So this is going to be a challenge. The question for KKR is what happens when Chris Gayle gets out of that power play zone, and I saw him attack Chawla pretty hard last year.
Yeah.
And also Kuldeep, so they're a big factor. What happens outside that period is important.
Gee, this is suddenly turning out to be a very appetizing contest. Given that Punjab have won this toss, it could be a fun game to talk about. We're going to continue talking about the West Indians. We haven't even gotten to Andre Russell, and we're almost out of time. But let's have a look at our first poll results. And Mujibur Rahman, will he be missed? 71% say yes. There's absolutely no surprise there. Time will tell if Ravichandran Ashwin is to regret this decision. Now, are you backing Punjab on the basis of this big toss that they've won? All sorts of changes. Maybe Kolkata look the most settled. So if you think it's Kolkata, go for that wow reaction. If you think it's Punjab, give me the reaction that Josh Butler gave our Ashwin the other night. And we'll see how that poll pans out in a few minutes from now. Andre Russell, what do we say about Andre Russell? As the talk in every dressing room, especially the team that's going to face him next after that Sunrisers game, is how do we stop him? Now, let's ask maybe Deep Dasgupta, because he's been part of these management groups as well. So has Brad Hodge. But let me start with you. You saw Russell that day.
Yeah.
And you saw the way he goes after everybody. And I thought Mujib might be a good weapon against him, and they've taken that up.
A couple of things, I believe. I mean, listen, on his day, he can just take anybody out of the park. I mean, but couple of things. One is spinner. You've got to bowl a spinner against him, especially when he comes in. And secondly, if you've played quite a few quick bowlers, if you're going to bowl, keep it here. Keep it near chest and head. Nobody likes it.
Let's dig out the numbers. Pace v spin, Andre Russell, because that'll maybe illustrate your point better. And just have a look at how he tends to go. Data is something teams tend to look at. Because you look at Andre Russell, you just have to look at something that gives you hope. And maybe these numbers will give you some hope. He only strikes 160 against spin. It goes to nearly 200 against pace. I mean, it's just hard.
I think when you look at those statistics, you've got to look to where the ball's been actually pitched and how much of those 195 strike rates have been in his half.
Yes.
I think that you've got to get the ball up around the shoulder height, what you're talking about, deep, and just try and get him to swing across the line.
And
you can't choose.
Eden is a big ground as well.
Let's get that actually. We've got Andre Russell versus Lens. Maybe that'll be a more interesting conversation to have. Now the Yorker, that's always a good ball, and this is since 2017 in the IPL. But you can see in that zone, 323, the minute it reaches anything near his arc. Otherwise, there's a lot of balls that are shorter. He's striking at 160, but there are at least 4 dismissals to give you something. So I'm not sure how much that, but I get your point, Haji.
But then also the fact that pace plays an important role. You pitch it short and you're bowling at 125, 130, that's not going to make too much of a difference. But if you've got 140 bowlers with you and you pitch it around that 6-8 meter mark, that will create problems. There's no two ways about it.
Would you want to keep things guessing? Make it random on Mr. Russell?
Completely random. I mean, the thing is that you showed there that Yorker was actually quite an effective thing, but the problem is no bowler can execute 6 in a row.
Sure.
So sooner or later, if you're a fraction off and you miss it short, she's disappearing out of Eden Gardens. It actually might even disappear out of Kolkata.
There's also something about Russell's numbers being better in the chase than when he's batting first. So just keep an eye out for how he goes today. We'll maybe dig out those numbers as we go forward in this IPL. Right, let's carry the conversation forward. Kolkata, they'll have the job of batting right now, but when they do come out to bowl, they might need a few more wickets in the power play. They've actually not got very impressive numbers, and that's a surprise given the quality of bowling that they've had in the power play. We'll just dig out some numbers for you when it comes to KKR in the power play. They're rock bottom, wicket taking that is. Now, it'd be very interesting to see what the economy is in this too, because Sunil Narine does bowl a lot. But it's almost 9 is what I'm told. But that's what we've got. KKR don't quite get wickets in the power play. Who wants to take this
but
one?
if you look at the main wicket-taking bowlers for KKR, they're spinners. And you mentioned Sunil Narine. He bowls 1 over in the first 6, and that predominantly would be the 5th or the 6th over. So, I mean, if you look at the other fast bowlers that they've had in the last few years, they've been all youngsters predominantly. Maybe Umesh was there a couple of years ago or something. So they really haven't had big new ball bowlers or wicket-taking new ball bowlers.
That's in the power play in last year's IPL. You had Piyush Chawla bowl a fair bit in the power play. You had Narine bowl decent amount, and you had Andre Russell get the new ball too. Prasidh Krishna. That's what they've got. Not a heaps of wickets to go for it.
No, that's a bit of a problem there for Krishna. For a guy that is tall and gets it through at good click and can move it. Look, they made their choice last year in the auction and got Mitchell Starc, and of course he didn't show up. So that was an area where they probably tried to rectify that and make that a really important task. They haven't quite got that this year. Lockie Ferguson may provide that. We need to see a little bit more. But again, those other 2 youngsters who are ruled out of the tournament as well may have provided some pace in that to get a few wickets in there.
Sunil Warrior is actually a good bowler.
Sandeep Warrior.
Sandeep Warrior. He's actually a good bowler. He was out of cricket because of injury, but this year he's come back. He's made the difference. I saw him bowl in T20 cricket as well recently. He's looking good. But even Prasidh Krishna, he looked a little rusty in the first game, to be honest, because he didn't play too many games for Karnataka coming into IPL. But they're good bowlers. But end of the day, I think even mentally, when Dinesh Karthik or before him Gautam, they predominantly looked at the spinners to pick wickets. That's how they control the game.
All right, the bell has already been rung at the Eden Gardens. It's been rung by Andre Russell. I hope he was gentle to it. Otherwise, that bell might need replacement after Andre Russell's had a crack or 2. Let's have a quick look at Punjab's efficiency against spin. They've got their work cut out. They've got Narine, Kuldeep, Piyush Chawla, even though Chris Gayle has the numbers. But the best team average against spin is Punjab's. This just makes the contest even more exciting. Big reliance on KL Rahul also. Missed out in the first game, Deep.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect setting for him. Brilliant pitch to bat on. Ball comes on to the bat. He likes playing against the spinners. He's got a good strike rate against the spinners. I think it's set up nicely for him.
And the nature of this change, these changes mean that Punjab's batting isn't quite as deep as maybe you would have liked.
No, Ashwin at 7's a bit of a concern. And the other thing is that none of these players have actually gelled together and see what they're like. But look, they've got some pretty good players to spin there, which is important, especially against KKR. Right,
Fab 4 time. Which 4 players will Hodge and Deep pick? There are plenty of options, and given how many options R. Ashwin has given us now after making these changes. Right, who wants to have a crack first? I think Hodge went first yesterday.
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
All right, Deep today.
Okay, Gayle chasing. So Gayle and KL Rahul.
That's a team for you if you'd like.
Yeah, so Gayle and KL Rahul for me as far as Punjab is concerned. Then for KKR, I'd go with Sunil Narine.
Okay, so 3 openers there.
Yeah, Sunil Narine and
come on, just
Kuldeep.
go for Chris Lynn. All right, fine. You're going for Kuldeep Yadav, so that's a good 4 pick for you. Hodge, what do you like?
I was going to go the 4 foreigners in the 3 West Indians and Chris Lim. So Narine, Russell, Gayle and
sounds good,
Chris, but it cancels a couple out. So
no, you've
got,
got just Chris Gayle in that.
Yeah, and Sunil Narine as well.
You picked Narine? Yeah, you picked Narine. Okay, so you wanna keep
all right, I'll tell you what. I'll take one of them off.
No, you pick first. I'll do that. I'll pick.
So you're going
I'll
with
back
Lynn?
them in last game. I'll go for Nitish Rana.
All right, so Nitish Rana, Chris Lynn, and the other 2 for you would be
the 2 West Indians. Who was it?
Andre
Russell
and
so Gayle would still overlap.
Chris. Oh yeah.
You okay with that? Fine, you okay?
Yeah, one.
No, yeah, okay.
All right, fine. Let's see where this stands at half-time. Many thanks to Deep and Brad. We will get their thoughts in the mid-inning show. What do you guys think? Punjab or Kolkata? I'm quite intrigued, actually. Though Kolkata tend to have the backing. Wow, 61% to Punjab. This is very interesting. We'll see how things go, how good their prediction is looking at halftime. Join us. We'll take your questions as well to Deep and Brad on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20.